So in this today's session we'll be talking about locators. Fine. Sorry. So basically, what do you understand by locators? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay. Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep. So basically, what is the locator is in any web page. Okay. Suppose there is one web page, Orange HRM, demoed Orange HRM. Okay. So this is one of the demo application. Okay. Assume it is the application under test, AUT. Fine. This is my application that is called AUT, application under test. All right. This is my application under test. When I navigate to this particular page manually, what I have to do is I need to enter username as an admin and password as an admin. All right. Fine. So what does this particular input box and this password input box is called? These all are called as a web elements. Okay, web elements. So what do you mean by web elements? All the yes, all the fields present within any web page. Okay, whatever. Maybe it is a link, maybe it's a input box, maybe it's a text. Okay, so can you just let me know like what type of web elements you have seen till now, or you can recollect? One is in input box, okay, and second one is text box. You can write text box, then drop down. Yep, correct. Level. Label is a tag name. Fine. Any link. Okay, hyperlink is done. Drop down. Yes. Checkbox. Checkbox. Anything? Radio buttons. Yep. Radio buttons. Anything else? Yes. Yes, there are a lot of, like, if you want to write, yeah, it's a text box, there's a drop down box, there's a check box, and you can find there is a images. All right. And what else you can see? You can see over here, is there anything? Logo that is come under image. Let's see what all things we can see. Okay. And you might have seen about this thing, auto search complete, right? When you enter some pin code, it will suggest you, right? It will give you some drop down, and there is something called drag and drop something. If you want to drag some particular element to somewhere, right, that thing also is being present. drag and drop elements. And anything else? Let's see. Anything new here? Web tables, most important, right? Yes, web tables. Then web forms, but these are not the element. This is a form. Form contains a lot of elements, right? And anything else? Okay. Well, we'll write down everything like when we'll come across any web elements, right? So these are the web elements present in any uh, applications. Okay, web application, right? Okay, the most important thing manually, what we do in okay. So this is my application under test. So in manually, what I need to do to test this particular application, I want to test the login functionalities. Okay, I want to test login functionality manually. I want to test, okay, login functionality. Can you just tell me like what are the uh, test cases or test scenarios we can have for this login functionality? Okay, okay. The scenario one with valid user ID, username, and valid password. Correct. And then scenario two, invalid username and invalid password. Okay, and we can have like invalid username and valid password or something like that. Okay, so there are a lot of permutation and combination we can have for this particular scenario to be, we can have multiple test cases of one scenario, right? One scenario can have multiple test cases, correct? So yeah, yes, correct. So in this case, I want to perform this particular scenario, valid username and valid password. This is my manual test case. Okay, so what exactly I want to do is I want to enter the valid, because valid username is admin and password is I know, right? uh, what is the username equal to admin, password it is admin. This is a valid one. Okay, we can have invalid as well, like I can just write something, let it be something called, you can write any name over here. I'll just say invalid username and invalid password. I'll write anything. I'll say sir, and password is also invalid. I'll say pass. Okay, so this means I want to execute this particular scenario one for valid username and valid password. So go to this orange HRM, then try to enter admin and try to enter the password as the admin. Okay, now what is the expected result? Yes, it should logged in and we should be landed on this particular dashboard page. So that means it's working fine. Great. Okay. So logged out from here and go ahead with the second scenario. Okay. We have a second scenario as well here. Yes. Observe and the pass for the second scenario. Good. Observe and pass. If you go and try to log in this particular application, you should get this particular thing, invalid credentials. Okay. Okay. If you enter a valid password, a valid username, okay, and invalid uh, password like pass, okay, this is invalid password. So if you try to log in, try to see here, it's also invalid. Okay, I think, okay, let's see, invalid username. If I give observe and valid password admin, okay, it's saying username. Okay, fine. So if we do not have username and password, you should get another a different error over here, right? Informational message. So this thing can be, we can automate, we can do manually, right? But if we perform the same task in automation, so what we need to do is we need to enter the valid credential in username, okay, and valid credential in the password. Fine. So to enter the value from our this thing, what you can say, if I just want to, one second, I have one whiteboard. Okay, in here you can see this is my script. Okay, I have a script, and this is my application AUT. That's Orange HRM. Okay, it has one username, and this is my password field, and this is my logged in login button. Okay, I can see script in Selenium, and this is my Orange HRM. So basically, this Orange HRM is the tool which is being used for tracking the time, live time, in and out timing, etc. Okay, basically used for human resource management tool. It is okay, and we have this thing is username, and this is my password and login button. Fine. So if I want to perform some action on this particular thing, okay, suppose I want to enter some value over here, and I want to perform some actions. Okay, so this is the input box, right? So what all the things I can do with the input box? Okay, in input box we can enter the text. Okay, same here, enter the text. One second. Okay, fine. And this is a button, all right, login. This is the click operation. Fine, we can perform click on this particular thing. So yeah, this is manually, we know how to do it manually, right? To how to enter the text, how to do it through keyboard. But in my Selenium script, how I want to do it, okay, I want to write some logic, I want to do something, or Selenium, does Selenium has something that can interact with these particular web elements. Okay, so what all the things present in Selenium is, second, fine. In Selenium, we have some methods, action methods. Okay, we'll see what all the action methods are present. Okay, in the latter, but the current scenario is we want to find these particular web elements present in this particular thing. Okay, how to find these elements, and I want to give the reference to this web element to my Selenium code. Okay, so the approach is to locate. Okay, locate the web elements and then make a reference. Okay, make a reference to the Selenium script. Fine, want to make a reference of that particular web element. So basically this is one web page, right? So if I want to create one web page, what are the things we can do? Like in plain HTML text we can write it, right? You know how the HTML is, we can write one HTML. The simple is, yes, yes, you can see here. Okay, HTML, then head, then title, then body. Okay, let me just create one HTML so that you can understand in a better way. Okay, I think you know the thing how it works, but let's start it. Okay, let me as a demo. Fine, and I'll be writing over the code over here. You can see, let me make the format, or let me, okay, view. One second. Font. Let me decrease the 40. Fine. You can see there is a HTML tag. Within that we have a header tag. Then within that we have a title. Whatever title you want to give. Okay. My demo application. Okay. Or we can use CSS in this particular thing to make it more attractive, right? Cascading style sheet. So that is used for, if you want to do dynamic, this particular thing, we can use CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. A lot of things are there, right? So this BG color, body color, is we use for the body, whatever the present within that web page, it will be colored. That's a BG color, background color. Okay, and this is one image. If you want to provide any image also, that we can provide. Let's see if I have any image. Let's see. Okay, I have this image, and the most important thing, if you are writing any code or HTML, the image should be present in the same. Okay, anything framework. Fine. And I can take the path of it and just paste over. Okay, it's gone. Oh, no, it should be present over here. Okay, you can just give that path to here, and it will align in the bottom, and it would be in the center. Let's see in the bottom, like here, and in the center. Okay, let's see. Then I have created one this thing. What is this? Yes, HR tag. Within that, we have written anchor tag, and this is linked to another notify the link, etc. Let's save it. Okay, so there is a hierarchy, right? Then HTML, the header, and title. Okay, the header is closed. Then body open here. Okay, and then there is HR tag. There is a lot of div. We can have tables. We can have forms. A lot of things we can have. Okay, let's save it. Let's see how it is working. Correct. Demo dot html, and then make it as all files. Let's save it. Okay. Now let's see how it's working. Yeah, here you can see one file is being generated. Okay, you can see the image is here, and the title, link name, this is a header, and my demo application, the title name is here, right? And you can see the email. Okay, so all the things, whatever we have written in that, tag names and all, so all thing you can see over here. So this is how exactly a web page we design in HTML. Okay, so if you go to inspect element, you can inspect that. Let's see. Go to developer options, how to inspect the element. In your keyboard, you press F12 or right click here and go to inspect element. Fine. If I inspect this thing, so you can see here any element if I want to inspect. Okay, it will show me over here. It is a header, then this is my, so that means each element has its specific location in any web page. Okay, that means this is a header. That means this particular web element text field, okay, it is present in the header section. That means it has some location in that HTML. We are providing that location. Okay, like the title, if we write within here, so it will locate over here. Where is that? Yeah, if we write within the title, so the text would come over here. If we write anything in the body section, that will come over here in this section. If we write anything in the link, that should come up in the link. That means each and every web element has its own space in a HTML page. Okay, if we want to write something in the center, we can change this thing. Okay, this section or something. Fine. Bottom, it's saying alignment is the bottom. uh, Anything you can change, or busy color you can change as a blue. Fine. So let's see. Yeah, now busy background color is changed to blue. Fine. That means each and every web element, it has some location in this HTML, right? You can see first HTML, then header, then body, then you can have multiple things like forms, div, etc., right? You can locate those web elements using its, you know, from referring these things, um, tag name, or maybe by class name. So we'll talk about that, how to locate those in Selenium. Okay, so this is how all the web element present in this web page. Fine, got it. Then coming to the locator section. Fine. To locate those web elements, we have certain functions available, certain methods. Okay, I would say yes, 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 yes. Locators present in Selenium. So basically, there are 8 locators present. Okay, 8 locators present in Selenium. Fine. Namely, first is by.id. The second one is by.name. By.name also we can locate this element. The third one is by class name. Fine. And the fourth one is yep, link text. The fifth one is partial link text. Okay. What else? CSS selector. Seven one is XPath. And what else? Something we missed. Oh, not DOM. Exactly. What else? No, DOM is not there in a locator because there are 8 locators like ID, name, class name, link text, partial link text, CSS selector. Then XPath, we have one more. Let's see in our Selenium code. Fine. Okay. The one more thing is present in Selenium is the tag name. Okay. By tag name also we can locate the element. Okay, these are the important things uh, that present in Selenium locators. Fine. So that means let me show you the Selenium code so that we can go ahead and create one more. Yes, I'll show you like how the things will work and how we can create one Maven project. So that will be separate class altogether, the Maven one. Right. So these are the locators present. You can just go ahead and try to inspect the web elements. Go to right click over here, go to inspect. Okay, this inspector will come in this way. If you like this view, that is well and fine. Or if you want to change the view, you can just click over here. You can see a lot of options available. Like if you want to in the right side, then can be done. And if you want this to be present in the bottom, then that can be done. All right, anything fine. Yeah, as far as this is visible, then it's okay. Okay, just click on this particular thing, this small thing. Just click on that, then inspect those elements. Fine, just click on that. So you will be able to see this thing. So this is a input. Okay, let me just copy and paste this particular thing. 1 second. Or what else I can do is I can go to page source as well. Okay, there is an option called view page source. Whatever the code they have written for this particular page, you can see over here. Okay, this is HTML, then header section. You can change this as well if you want. All right, in your local machine. Fine. Then yes, there's some CSS things is present. Okay, you can see a lot of div. There are a lot of things present. The tag. These all are the tags. Okay, whatever present within this anchor. There is this sign. Okay, it is called tag. Script is a tag, and here title is a tag name. Okay, the link is the tag name. This one, and you can see something called input. Div is a tag name. Okay, and input is a tag name. Whatever present within this, initial of this thing, this is called tag name. Okay, these all are attribute, type, name, all are properties of this particular input box. That means type is which type of this particular input box is. It's a hidden. It's a name is action ID, something like that. Right? So yeah, this is how this page is being written. What I was talking is yes, the tag name is input, the attribute or type, name, ID, and the value. These all are the attribute or the properties. Yes. Yep. Correct. Okay. These all are the properties in other term, if you want to uh, say. Okay. There's a type, name, and ID and a value. These things are present with for this particular web element. This one. Okay. But sometimes what happens is developer do not provide that name or ID or maybe some value. So we should go ahead with some other alternative if we can locate this particular element. That's why we have 8 type of locator present in Selenium, so that if one method is not working, like if the ID is not there, or maybe it's a dynamic one, I'll talk about that, how the dynamic things is there. Okay, if ID is not present, then we'll go with the name. If the name is not present, then we can go ahead with tag name or some other thing like CSS selector, or maybe with that thing XPath. Yeah, the XPath is the last choice always. Why? Because the XPath is the last choice. Okay, because XPath is very slow. Okay, and yeah, it is a bit slower than other locators. Fine, because what happens is it will traverse through child and then parent to other things, like it will first go ahead from, if you are using absolute XPath, you will have to go from here. It will check in this particular thing if it is present or not, then it will go here, then check whether this web element is present or not. So likewise, okay, it will go and check in each section. Then once it found this particular thing, then it will stop searching. But in case of that thing relative expert, it will directly come to here, and then also it will search. But in other case, it will directly search a whole DOM, then directly come to this particular name or maybe ID or whatever the locators you have. It will directly come to this particular place and it will search. Okay, and return that web element. Fine. Okay, fine. So let's see. Uh, I wanted to show you something. If do I have anything? No. Okay, fine then. No issue. No issue. We'll do it in the next session otherwise, in detail. Okay. So ID one. We'll talk about the ID. The first one, ID. Okay. We'll inspect all the web element present within this using ID. The username. Let's see. Is there any ID present for this? Yes. You can see this is the txt username. Just copy this and let me just close this one. Fine. And let it be the username. And the AUT is I have given that one. Okay. So we are performing actions on that. So the username locators is this. Okay. And the password. Let's see. Maybe. Let's see. Let me close this. If you go to this and the password, yes, it is a txt password, and you can write over here it's a txt password. Fine. Similarly, we have to login button. Fine. So we are identifying using the ID. Okay, btn login. Fine. That means Selenium can understand this particular thing. Okay, using ID. This particular this input box, username and password input box, then login button can be identified from this class name, or maybe ID, or maybe name, or maybe the type. Okay, or maybe the text as well. If you go with the text, so that text can be used in that XPath. Fine. Yes, the value is the text, right? So I'll show you like how exactly we'll write with the text. Okay, with this we'll show you when we'll come in with the XPath one. Fine. The same thing we can have for name. Okay, I would say I'll just copy paste each thing, and here this thing will change because we have given a name. Using the name, we are gonna locate those elements. Let's see. Username. Let's see, is there any name? Yep, there is a username, txt username. Just copy. I believe it's the same txt username, or maybe just copy paste it. Fine. Then going to this password, you can say txt password is the same, right? And username and username submit button. Okay, you can see the name is different here and ID is different. Okay, and here name is submit. Fine. So using the name, we can able to locate this particular element. To locate those elements, we have one method called, or one way or syntax is present in Selenium. Driver dot find element. Okay. By dot here the name. Yep. So the name we can give for username. If you are trying to find the username, give the username over here. Okay, fine. And if you and you can save this thing in a web, because it will, this thing will return one web element. Okay, now this web element can be found in that particular thing here. Okay, Selenium can understand, yes, this particular username is present using this particular username or name or ID or password, whatever. Sorry, ID or whichever locator is being present. Right. Similarly, we can have the same thing for text. Okay, just writing for password, driver.find element, by.name, and the text password. Correct. Yes. Same for all the locators. Yep. And here the submit button or login button. Fine. So the same thing, if I write for ID as well, I can write the same thing over here. Okay. Instead, by.name, I would be writing ID. Correct? Because the, yes, it is in caps. Let's see. Let's check. It is in caps. What is, I have somewhere. Let's check it. Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's in caps, I believe. Fine. So driver.find element by.id, then submit. Instead of submit, I think we have button login. Fine. Now this driver.find element, this is one method present in Selenium. So that will return you one web element. So there is a return type. Okay, we can have multiple function. So function can return something, right? So this is find element is also a function which return the web element, right? So that web element we can save in web element interface, right? The similar thing we can do for others as well. Like if you want to do for ID is gone, the name is gone, the class name. Okay, we can write it for class name. Okay, let's see what all the things present for class. Just copy paste the same thing because it is also gonna work with the same fashion. If I'm gonna here, yes, you can see, is there any class name present? No, there is no class name present over here. So we cannot use the class. Let's see for password. Is there any class name? No class name is present. And for here, the login, the class name is present. It's a button. Okay, button is there. So for button only, we can use the class name. So we can remove this thing, and we can also remove these things. Fine. Login button driver dot find element by dot class name. Fine. And here, fine. And you can write over here. I'll show you. I'll demonstrate it in Eclipse. Okay. Maybe because I need to set up. I'll show you tomorrow. Maybe. Fine. So this is the basic fundamental, like how we can locate those elements. Okay. And this driver dot find element also will return you a web element. Okay, and you can save it in this web element interface reference. Okay, then we can have multiple actions on this particular login button. Yes. Then the fourth one is the link test. Yeah. Before that, we can write, because the way it should work is by tag name, because we forgot this. Okay, because there is a the order is there, like first you should go with the id. Okay, and then you should go with the class name. Okay, then if it is present with the tag name, or then you can go with the that thing, um, css. Okay, css is the faster than others. Yep, that is more important, but it's quite complex. If you are if you have hands-on on that, if you are doing the practice, then it would be easy for you to manage to write that css selectors. Fine. So we'll discuss that in like css selector in the expa. That we'll discuss in details. Don't worry about that. That will be in experts, and in CSS selector we have some other things, like parent is there, child is there, but nth element, a lot of things are there. We'll talk about that. Fine. So coming to the tag name, in here you can see. Let me just find out input. Sorry. Yes, the tag name is the input, but if you try to write for only input. Okay, so you can see it is also input, it is also input, because you can find the multiple tags as an input. All right. So the most important thing, the most the rule, I can say the rule of finding. One second, let me just close this. Okay, before this thing, I want to say something here. The rule. No, not for all. Rule is for all. Okay, I'll just say star star. Yes. The rule is element or web element. So element should have a unique locator. Okay, or property. Fine. That means uh, if you use the tag name, okay, tag name as input, the thing, if there is only one input box in this particular web page, okay, then we can go ahead with the tag name. There's no issue in that. Tag name is input box because there are two input box. So if you write the input, okay, input, we'll see like how the things works when we use the input and it'll try to enter something. What will happen? If I want to do for password also, it will go to the first one. If I write something like, if I want to write something for the password, okay, the web element driver dot find element, okay, this thing, if I want to write this password by uh, tag name, okay, and the tag name is input, but my, yes, password is also having the input tag. Let's see. Okay, input you can see over here, right? Password, and in this username is also having the input as a tag name. If you try to find this, okay, let's see. If you will try to find for password also, it will go to the first one first, whichever it finds first, or maybe you'll get some error. Let's see. We'll do it in tomorrow's when we'll walk through is all the code in the Eclipse, so that we can come to know like what are the exceptions we can get if we use this, because there are multiple. We are using find element, which the rule is the web element should be uniquely identified. Fine. If you want to find multiple web elements, okay, suppose I have a web element or multiple web element having the same tag name or same class. If I have multiple web element having same ID, so in that case what I can do is I can find those elements using find elements, okay, using, yes. So there is another method, find element, and another is find elements. Yes, the same thing, like we are having the problem. What's the problem here? If we give the tag name as an input, hmm, yes, yeah, yes, or it is ambiguous, right? We are our intention to enter something in password, but unfortunately we are not able to locate this particular password thing, right? Password input box. So there is ambiguous problem. All right. So if I want to find all the element having the same in a tag name, so what I can do? What is the elements? Correct. So if I want to do that, so I can have, you know, driver dot find elements. Then I can write tag name, and then I want to save it in the list. Fine, because it will return you the list of web elements, not the single web elements. Okay, fine. So you can see li or ele element. Okay, so this element contains multiple web elements. Like okay, in our case we have two input box. Okay, username and password. Fine. So that means this web element only contains two things. It's an array, right? Or list. So if it is a list, then it will contain two things. Element in the zeroth position it is containing that thing, the first username, right? And the element, if you write this one, it is containing the password, fine. Got it? So that means using this index we can access username and password whatever. So there is no ambiguous now, fine. Okay, so this is how we can use find element, but okay, we'll go through it in the later sessions as well, like in detail how the things work. So understood, like the most of the time tag name have multiple, or it is not unique most of the time. So if you find the tag name is unique, then you go ahead with that. Otherwise, it's not advisable, right? Or if you are using some, if you are purposely some doing something in web table and something else, so we can go ahead with this tag name. So I'll show you like when we'll cover that web table, dynamic web table, how to handle those. So in that case we'll be using tag name and all. I'll be demonstrating that one as well. Okay, fine. Then we have the fifth one, and yeah, and this thing, see this link text, you know how the text work. In link text, if you go, is there any link text? Let's see. Yes, this is one link. Okay, just go ahead and try to inspect this. You can see there is a, that means anchor, a tag, anchor tag, then href. Okay, that means it shows it is a link text, fine. So using this link text we can do. So what should I write over here? This one, this particular thing I need to write. Orange hrm inc, this one, the text of that link. Okay, not anything, not the this link or url. Yeah, whatever you can see over here, that thing, the link text, from the name you can get the link text, fine. Let's see, fine. What is that? 5. Okay, by link text. So by link text, you can see there is one link. Sorry. So the link name is Orange HRM link. Anything I can write over here, right? Orange HRM link equal to, what you can write? Driver dot find element. Fine. So within this, we can write in double quotes the name of the thing. Okay, and it will be saved in the web element, because the driver.find element will always return one web element. some link. Okay, I can name something. Oh, okay, sorry, I have already created. Okay, so this orange hrm link, this is a web element reference to this particular thing. Fine. By using the link text, whatever the link, the text of that link. Suppose I have a link which has a very big link here. So having, okay, like orange hrm, a lot of things is being written from here to here. Okay, this much. I mean, partial links, anything partial linked in anything, like if any a word matching with that link text, that will go ahead and return that. Fine. That is we use for partial link. Fine. Okay, so the partial link text, if it is a big, that link is there, so in that case we want to write the partially any text present with it. If I write this orange hrm or orange h also, it will be able to find out this particular web element. Fine. Let's see. And over here you can write the partial link text. Okay, partial link text, and in here you don't need to write all the link text present, or all will be fine if you have written, or anything, or any h also, it will be able to find out this particular web element. Yep. Which one? Yes, because the link text is there, right? You can see here orange hrm and then comma, then inc, whatever present over here. Okay, whatever present within that link, the text you need to just copy from here. You don't have to do from anywhere. You don't have to go to this DOM as well. You just copy from here. Okay, copy and paste it here. That's it. Fine. Partial link text, like we don't have to write the whole text matching. If we write some partial text, then that will also work. That will return you one web element reference. Fine. Okay, then I think we have done for today.